Hi, I'm Eric Kaufman, and I want to talk about the first of the 4 virtues of a leader that I write about in my book, The 4 Virtues of a Leader. And for this discussion, I'm going to address focus. Focus answers the question, what am I creating? You're always creating, you're always moving towards something. Race car drivers, they learn this really early on in their career. What they learn is that where they focus their attention, they move in that direction. And to race car drivers, that's really important because if they focus on the wall as they come around at 120 miles an hour, they're going to move towards the wall. So what they're taught is to focus on the road. Keep your eyes on where you want to go. This is true for race car drivers. As a matter of fact, it's practically a matter of life and death. It turns out it's equally as true for human beings in every role, whether you're a leader, whether you're a homemaker, whether you're a truck driver. Focus is what you move towards, and you're always creating. You're creating both consciously and unconsciously. Your body, your job, your relationships, your community experience, everything and anything that you're engaged in is attached back to your beliefs and behaviors. This is your focus. You do this with 2 aspects of the mind, the conscious and the unconscious. I want to talk about the conscious part first, right? I call the conscious part Tom. Tom is the way you express yourself in the world. What Tom stands for is targets, objectives, and milestones. So, you're a manager in an organization. What you essentially have to do is you have to express Tom. What are the targets that we're trying to accomplish? What are the objectives that we have to do in order to accomplish those targets? And what are the milestones? So Brian and his team, for example, Brian is the head of marketing. His team needed to launch a new website for a new product in order to market that product. And so, the target was to launch this new website by September. The objectives was a whole list of things that needed to accomplish. The wireframe for the website, the copy, what's going to be written in it, the look and feel, the images, and the milestones were the incremental accomplishments to get to the final outcome of the target. So they set out to do what they always did. They got part way and suddenly they got stuck. Brian and I had a conversation about, well, why are you stuck? And he said, well, I'm stuck because we are back again at the same place we've been over and over, where there's a major decision to be made, and nobody's making it. So I have to step in and make the decision. Is what Brian said. Now you think that's normal. That's just good leadership, good management, but I'll tell you that there's a real problem with what Brian does on an ongoing basis. Because Tom is one way that you create. That's one way to address focus. The reason Brian and his team keep getting stuck is not for lack of targets, objectives, and milestones. It's because Brian hasn't really addressed Bev. I talked about the 2 characters, right? Tom is the external and the visible. Bev is the unconscious and invisible. Bev is beliefs, expectations, and values. Specifically, consider this. Brian has a belief that under pressure, he has to solve the problem. Literally, I asked him, what do you do under pressure when things aren't going well? And he says, I have to fix it. I have to come up with the solutions. That's his belief. I have to do it. So what happens is that he walks into the meeting, and in order to make this belief work, he has an expectation. His expectation is that he needs to produce it, and his team is not going to be as competent, as smart, as creative, as driven as he is. So he's expecting that he's going to come in with an idea, a solution, a possibility, and how he then behaves, which is where it goes next, is what? You can imagine this. You've been in these meetings. You know what I'm talking about. He's got a belief that he has to fix it. He's expecting that nobody's going to be as good as him. He comes in not necessarily to create collaboration and working together, but rather to have people validate his point. And what he does is he starts driving because he's anxious. He wants to resolve this. He's driving his point, so people get frustrated. They're going back and forth. He doesn't really want to hear the input. He just wants validation to get it done. And the results are... people get frustrated. They start pulling back. They don't give of themselves as wholeheartedly. He's their boss. How much can they fight him? And what happens then? He gets it back on his shoulders that he has to do it, reinforcing his beliefs. This is how you create and co-create your reality. Your beliefs, they feed your expectations, which shape your behaviors, drive the results, and confirm your beliefs. This notion of focus is taking responsibility for the world around us. Jim Collins wrote a book in the 1990s called Good to Great. It's a fantastic leadership business management book, and if you haven't read it, run out and get it. One of the distinctions he makes in the book is that great leaders look out the window to assign praise and in the mirror to assign blame. This isn't necessarily the same as blame, but you have to take responsibilities. You have to look around and say, do I like what's happening? Because if you like it, you're creating it. You have to look and say, do I not like what's happening? Because if you don't like, you're creating it. This is the power of focus. What am I creating with my beliefs, my expectations, my behaviors, and my results? It's not just about the external world of objective goals. It's about the internal world of how you're influencing your world around you. So take stock, look around, get feedback, listen to the information, and recognize that the world is your reflection. And if you want to create something differently, it's not just about setting different targets. It's about challenging your beliefs. Good luck on the journey.